really uh, cue up what we're going to be hearing about this evening, and next, who we're going to be hearing about that from. And tonight, we're going to hear some information about an opportunity. And for me, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Absolutely changed my life fundamentally. And you're going to hear how that can happen for people tonight. This opportunity is around partnering not only with a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ that's right now to put its footprint on global expansion, but more importantly, a partnership with this group, the people that you're going to be hearing from tonight. And also, we're going to hear rounding out what that partnership might mean, what you might be involved in doing in looking at, hey, what could I do to participate here if I saw a vision to change the course of my life or my family's life? And we're going to hear what that would entail, as well as the vision of what we're looking at. Now, who are we going to hear this from this evening? Well, we actually have some really, what we're going to hear is the story of this publicly traded company on the NASDAQ and where they started and where we are today and where that vision is and where we're going. And we get to hear this from a couple that was involved in actually rescuing this company when it was just trying to get its feet under itself. And in this period where most companies actually fail. And we have a really good story around that. And this couple was in the rooms at the meetings and were part of the driving force after that all the agreements were made to actually put us here now in the position the company is right now. But they're going to actually take you back in time about 17 years when they tell this story about where we started. This very special couple has built one of the largest organizations in this company that is actually, in my mind, built a foundation that's allowed the company to do everything it's done and look the way it looks right now when this couple shows you where this company is and where it's going. So, with that, it is my tremendous honor to introduce two people that when I was introduced to this industry, I saw. I was sitting in the audience and they were up on stage trying to train this entire company how to do some very simple things that this industry entails. And we're going to hear about some of that tonight. But that was my introduction to them. To now, to this date, all the years I've been in the company, these people have actually become really great friends and people I consider family. They've taken really, really good care of me and my family when we were moving across the country a couple of years ago. A truckload of us with their animals and everything like that. Forever grateful to them for what they've done for this company, but for their friendship and what they've done for me personally. And I think that's why it's an important part of this opportunity is who you're going to be partnered with in this and can they take you to where you want to go with this vehicle that they're going to show you. So with that, it is my pleasure, my honor to introduce tonight Dave and Joanne Madison from Monument, Colorado. Dave and Joanne, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you
You're the
so
best,
much.
man.
Yeah, you truly are, business partners, friends, like family. And that is the wonderful thing about all of this. And we have had the fun and the privilege of getting to know Chris, his beautiful wife, Sarah, beautiful daughter, Rose, Chris's beautiful mom. And I just can't tell you that Dave and I have been around for 17 years, and this, what you're about to hear about from him in just a minute, was good for us 17 years ago. And yet Chris didn't hear about it 17 years quite right when we heard about it, but yet it was still a good opportunity when he and his wife heard about it. And quite frankly, it's an even better opportunity today because sometimes being at the very beginning, things can be a little rough around the edges. So all of those edges, let me tell you, we've made all the mistakes. And our goal is to help each and every one of you on this call tonight to catch the vision of this movement that we've got going on here and to want to just join us because this is so fun. This is so impactful for so many people and their lives. And we have had the time of our life just being able to help people for the last 17 years and collect like-minded people to come on this journey with us. And so we hope that you see exactly what we saw 17 years ago, because let me tell you, that was back in 2009. I had a mortgage company. That was obviously after 2008 and the economic crash. And so I was living in a place of super stress. I don't know if any of you on here have ever been dealt a hand with an abundance of stress, but I can tell you they know stress is a leading killer and a leading thing that promotes disease and illness and breakdown in the body. Stress is no good. I needed a way out, and yet I had no idea what that way out might look like. Dave was in the industrial heating and air conditioning industry, which was economy tied. So things were difficult for him. So we were looking to pivot in our life. Have you ever been there? That's exactly where we were when LifeVantage came along, and we were shown this information, exactly what Dave's going to share with you tonight. And you know what? We caught it and we said, oh my goodness, we've never heard or seen anything like this before in our life. And to have the opportunity to align ourselves to be able for us to be able to work together to make a difference in our own lives and to make a difference in the lives of people that we know, love, and care about, but then in the lives of strangers as well. And so this totally transformed the trajectory of who we are and just our focus in life, and to be able to have the good friends like some of you on this call that we consider good friends, and definitely Chris and Sarah that we've gotten to know so much more intimately, let's say, over the last several years. And so I just want to turn this over to my partner in crime. We are coming up on 39 years married and actually over 50 years of knowing each other. Um, and you know what? We get to work together and be wherever we want to be on any given day. So today we are in St. George, Utah, and we are getting ready for a whole pack of people. And I want to personally invite each and every one of you on this call to converge on St. George, Utah, to be with us this Friday and Saturday to learn the ins and outs and the details around how to share this information with other individuals and really change your life. And so you're all welcome. We want you to come and we want you to join us in this. But let me turn it over to Dave to just share with you what we heard about 17 years ago and why it affected us so much and why it continues to affect us each and every day. And we just want the world to know the good news that we heard. So I so appreciate him and his love and passion for people and just his heart to help every single person to change their life in whatever that looks like. So take it away.
Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you, Chris. Your visit, one of your many visits, when you guys moved into the Great Rockies, was a special, special time for us. Those few days we were able to spend, and I'm reminiscing all the time when I hear those beautiful chimes on my deck that you gave us as a wonderful, wonderful gift. So thank you so much for that warm welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are super excited for you and all of us to be a part of this moment. We've been blessed to be a part of some things in our life that have brought some great rewards in whether it's monetarily or from a health standpoint or from a physical standpoint in our ministries, in our environments for mentorship programs, etc. But this one with LifeVantage is one that has really been a capper. We have personally been blessed beyond our wildest imagination with what we had hoped in our life. And the reason being is we've been able to facilitate some of the actions and words that are only there to drive people forward. And I don't have to rely on others in like we do in so many aspects of having a career or a job. I've been able to be in a place where we can actually facilitate the helping hand, the help up process. we started analyzing these businesses and started realizing some of the challenges that exist with traditional businesses, ones that are a part of an online capability, ones that are in a travel alignment, etc. But what was so unique to us when we started to really dive deep into what is happening here with LifeVantage was the fact that we could create some serious replication. We're duplicating some of our efforts. And when we do it once, we're able to reap that benefit over and over and over again. So ultimately, we are in a place where we know that we can actually bring to the table circumstances that are rendering real problems in people's lives. And we have some venues that we can apply them into that are going to bring resolution. So for us, we started looking at some of the key components of what makes a real viable business, something that is really, really different and special. Well, a couple things that are really first and foremost critical is are we bringing ourselves into an environment that is actually physically in an alignment of an event moving forward, or is it a fad type approach? So in this circumstance, this is a trend that is sustainable. It's a long-term trend where I think everybody is interested in becoming healthier. I think everyone is interested in really taking a key eye on what we're actually putting inside our body. And I think it's a great opportunity to, on the backlash of so many circumstances that we've all had to face, whether it was us personally or others, that our body was not functioning like it was when we were in our youthful state. And I think there's some really key elements outside of this industry that have shown this to be a fact that is worth harnessing to try to capitalize on. The other thing I started to really chase down is what are some of the structures within the corporation that make the difference of how a powerful business can move forward without me. I don't want this to be something that I have to be the instrument. I have to be the only. I want it to be a part of a bigger picture, allowing everyone else and the entire business to have those legs that are going to make the difference for everybody. So for me, I started looking at how I could capture things to the online capabilities. I didn't want to go into the brick and mortar business. I wanted to be something that was less physical because I'm getting in an older age. I wanted something to be more adhering to all ages and all sexes and all brackets of life. And so when I started to study what LifeVantage was going to bring to the table, the proposal that was ringing in our ears was the fact that it's a publicly traded company. Now, most people, like myself prior, I wasn't necessarily throwing a whole bunch of extra cash at different business ventures because I didn't have a lot of that extra cash. So I never really took the positives out of having a publicly traded company. But when I got skunked a couple of times being in a privately held company, not that the decisions were any better or worse. The difference being is it was something that I could be accountable to. I could see it was actually happening in a publicly traded company. Regardless of how much people were making at those executive levels, I could see what their incentives were. And I could see and track where the dollars were being spent and what they were doing to produce the business moving forward. So this company not only has some of the biggest investors in the world, it's rang the bell twice on the NASDAQ. It's a publicly traded company. I started buying the stock at 17 cents and it's up around 10 today mentality. But what is so significant is we have an opportunity to harness some of the momentum that exists not only in our circumstances of life that are happening today, but we have a backing, a corporation that actually is supporting those streams of opportunity for each and every one of us. So when I started to swing outside of that, I started to look at what was the product going to do in the marketplace? What was it going to mean to me and to others? How do I bring the product into an alignment that everyone is going to see success with? Well, when I started to look at what oxidative stress was, because this has the ability to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, I started to realize that oxidative stress is a link to all of these circumstances that you and I have in our life, whether it be already a condition in our body or one that is coming, one that we know tomorrow it's going to be more toxic than it is today, right? We live in a culture that ultimately we have those circumstances growing in concern everywhere. So when we're talking about products that not only have great evidence that they're working in me mentality, more importantly, we have an entire world of science out there that is spending their hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on doing the research of how this product is actually facilitating the actions that it's stated in its peer review studies. Those studies that actually are verified not only by the ones that are performing the study, but also in an element of peers, the peers that actually are anonymously chosen to participate in helping and assisting that product to bring validity. And only 5% of those studies that are clinically done ever get to that level. So we have a superior alignment in this, first and foremost, product standpoint, because it has the ability to register in our white papers for published peer reviews. Go to pubmed.gov and you can see and witness all of the existing studies that exist. And there's 30 of them. So it's not just our marketing department or the company's science and department that are actually claiming what it is doing. So when I look at some of these circumstances of what the product's ability is going to do, I know that everybody that eats, breathes, and drinks has this chemical reaction going in our body that gives us life. And as we get older, it starts to diminish the amount of those antioxidant enzymes in our body that are our defense mechanisms to the aging process. But the oxidative stress levels continue to go up, and that differential is the problem that you and I see, face, and realize as we get older. And if I can push my body back to that original operating system that my body was designed for, I got a much better chance to survive some of those circumstances that our culture is bringing to us, our bodies that are exposed to, the conditions that are hindering our everyday life forward. And so I recognize that there's some motives for everyone to see success in a product of that magnitude. What was significant to me was we pulled it out of the grocery store kind of mentality where it was sitting on a shelf waiting for somebody to pick it up. We actually became a voice to this product. The product that we were adapting to needed someone that, like ourselves, that actually gave it a voice of reason for people to understand what was happening with it, how it is so category creating. It's something that doesn't even have a category on a shelf at a store, so you can only imagine how fast that failed. Hence the reason why we were so attracted to it, to realize this is something completely category creating. So I look often at circumstances on a product line that make a difference long term. And for me, it's kind of like looking at an iPhone or a Droid, the touch screen that was only a 7-year mechanical electrical patent by the original iPhone organization. As that became the skew of what everything that we touch in these days resonates from. But we have patents that are lasting 25 years, and there's over a dozen of them here and across the world. So I think there's some stamina to the product, not only being in a venue that everyone else is doing all the research and development to prove its validity, but also to be in a place where the company owns that product and the company has the actual wherewithal in a patent times 12 that protects you and I as we continue to communicate this thing forward. So with that, it brought up the question of how are we going to monetize this to give people motives and incentives to actually participate in messaging this thing forward. Well, we decided to develop the compensation that pays people for their performance. I don't have to rely on a boss to give me the job and to give me the salary, etc. We took it as independent contractors where I have the ability to perform and produce. And the more I do that, the more I have abilities to create income. At the same token, I have to rely on an organization of people as I attract them into the same benefits of the product. They themselves are going to have reasons for looking at this also, because there's a monetary value that brings to them. And then I ultimately am willing to help with a free expense line to actually help them produce, move forward, teach, train, mentor them to go forward. In doing so, I'm going to get a small reward and they're going to get the bigger reward. So I don't have the employee-employer mix up. I don't have those binding factors that are often full with strife. I only have a help system, and that teammate process is very critical to the success of what's happening. So whether you think that you want to just participate in making sure your mom or your dad or your next door neighbor has an access to this product, or whether you think you have a number of people that are actually looking to suffice some income structures, bring themselves to a player of leveling up financially, giving them something that they can call their own, giving them something that might be a retirement, or that single mom or a single dad that's struggling financially. There's a great venue here for all of us to capitalize on it. And we, like we say, we don't really make it until we make it for a whole lot of people first. And that is a very powerful tool. So, regardless of whether you think this is a sales business or not, it's not. This is a sharing business of bringing information to people and giving them the choice, giving them the opportunity to make a big boy or big girl decision on how they're going to attract people to the environment, and then getting counsel from people like you and I that are going to then have the ability to teach, train, and mentor their people forward also. So for us, we looked at some of these key components that I analyze in all businesses, regardless of how we flooded this into the online capabilities through network marketing, regardless of how the pay structure aligns itself. We know that there's very few opportunities where the perfect storm is really truly happening in business. And this is one of those moments. This is one of those, all of the ideals of business are linking right now at the right time. And they're all focused, fortress focused on your supremacy. It's giving you that opportunity to capitalize on it now. I'm not talking about having something that is archaic. There's no reason to talk about pagers when we have an iPhone, etc. I don't need to be concerned about that. I just know that there's going to be a look back, like we all can say, I wish I had. And there's going to be that on this venue. It's a company that's not even doing, it's doing a over $200 million on an annual basis. And it's going to be that multi-billion-dollar brand. That's even what the biggest investors in the world are even talking about. So there's great opportunity for you and I to capitalize on. I'll tell you a little story, and I'll leave it with this and pass it back to you, Chris. I had an opportunity back when I was young in my family life, and I was more concerned about putting macaroni and cheese on the table, when I had an opportunity to be one of the original investors in AOL. But I had no clue that Ronnie Reagan was back then for 20 years throwing these satellites up in the air, and we were going to be talking on devices like this without a power cord or a speaker cord. I had no idea that that was even happening, and I missed it. I don't know, but I'm kind of thinking, if I had known a little bit more about what was going on in the computer world, the IT world, the whole entire institute of satellite systems, I probably would have invested in that company. Where do you think I'd be today? I might not be where I'm sitting right now, because I probably would have been able to capitalize on it. Not because I'm something special, but I was at the right place at the right time, and I capitalized on doing action. You are, excuse me, you are unequivocally, you are at the right place at the right time with the right people. So whoever's invited you into this venue, thank them first and foremost. Number two, get back with them, start asking some questions, and start driving depth into understanding what this thing has to offer. And what do you have to lose? Other than some hopefully preventative, maybe some resolution health, and maybe it's an extra $500 or $5,000 or $50,000 a month. Been there, done it, had it all. It's up to you. So with that, I appreciate your time and your attention. Chris, I'm going to roll this back to you. Thank you so much for your wonderful introduction and being a part of moving this forward with us. It's been a great fun ride, and we appreciate you so much. Back to you, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Yeah, great presentation. And when I first saw this information, I had no experience with this industry. And there were two questions that I had and that I've learned that most people have, which is this real? Dave, did a great job of showing us that it's real, that there's resources that can back up what this opportunity is, so that we don't really have to talk it up uh, that much. And to the question as to could I do this? Well, we're going to move over to and hear from Joanne again. And again, it was people like Dave and Joanne and other leaders in the company that answered that question for me, that taught my wife and I, who had no experience in this industry, what could be expected of us moving forward. And that it wasn't necessarily going to be easy to get what they had, but it was going to be very simple. So, Joanne, over to you to answer that question, I guess, for people, can they do this?
That is a great question. And you know what? Dave and I were asking ourselves that exact same question when we saw this, because if we're like maybe many of you on this call, we had attempted to have success in this industry and we didn't achieve the success that we were looking for, and we thought it was us. We were never taught the elements and the aspects around what really creates a good opportunity. So once we learned that, we realized it wasn't necessarily us. And so if you have tried this industry of network marketing before and maybe not capitalized on it to the degree that you wanted to, you're in good company here. There, most people are in that same boat. But what we've got here is that perfect storm that Dave was talking about. We've got all the key components to make up an amazing opportunity. So I want to encourage you to just don't learn it all. You don't need to know it all. You need to know just a little bit, and you need to link up with the individual that invited you here, because this is a partnership business. We never work this alone. Even 17 years in, we aren't working alone. And that is the beautiful and fun thing about this. So I want to encourage you to make a decision today. Why wait? Why wait on your future for better wellness and better wealth, right? If I said to you, you could have more money coming into your bank account literally next week, does that sound like a good idea to you? If you don't need that extra money, I'm happy to give you our bank account number.
Absolutely.
And then it can be deposited there. But people are waiting to hear about this breakthrough technology. So all you need to do to get started, it actually is very, very easy. There are several options for you to join this journey. And so you can get online and you can see what all those options are. I encourage you, if you can, and if you say, you know what, I really want to make some financial changes in my life, I would strongly encourage you to come in at the business pack. It is the biggest bang for your buck. You get 2 training tickets that you can use down the road for one of the corporate events, because you've got to hone your new skill set, right, in this business. So pick a business pack, preferably the largest business pack, because it gives you the broadest spectrum of our amazing products that we have to offer in the marketplace, because it's harder, not impossible, but a little bit harder to promote something if you haven't tasted it, tried it, smelled it, all those things, shared it. And so that gives you enough to have the ability to do exactly that. But most importantly is pick one of them and get yourself in the system, get your business launched. You're going to get your website, you're going to get the free app that comes along with your business. And then who was coming to mind tonight as you were hearing this information? I know if you've got a caring spirit, you were probably thinking of some people like, oh my goodness, so and so has this, so and so has that, so and so would love to feel better, so and so is training for a marathon, or what have you. All walks of life of people that are in your circle of influence. So and so is an entrepreneur. So and so is always wanting to get extra money to go on that vacation. I had a friend just the other day that she got back from a big vacation that she traditionally would not take, and she got the bug, and she said, you know what, I need to earn enough money to be able to go on another special vacation. So you never know what's going to motivate someone to have the incentive to move forward. And so we don't know what dreams are stored up and tucked away in people's heart and mind. And so we want them to be able to choose for themselves. So start writing those names down. I encourage you to get a notebook that is specific to your LifeVantage business. Start writing down those people's names that come to your mind. Whether you share with them this week, this month, or even this year is really irrelevant, but you want to have their names on a list and then get with your mentor, the person that introduced you to this call, and together you reach out and contact them. Obviously, if you're just hearing about this tonight, you don't have enough information to actually effectively convey this message, right? So own that, and that's okay, but be excited about, I heard about something and it made me think of you. I'd love to have my friends share with you so I don't mess it up. How many of us couldn't say that? And then get on a Zoom call with them. If they're in proximity in your same town, absolutely get together in person. In person is always best. Second best is a Zoom. Third best is a phone call. But really, our job is to just get this information in the hands of other individuals as quickly as possible so that they can start transforming their life in whatever way they see fit. And so make that list of names of people that are coming to mind and together reach out and get this information in their hands and get them moving forward. If you are a visionary, I absolutely 100% would say move whatever mountain you need to move to get yourself to St. George this weekend. It will catapult your business because in St. George this weekend is going to be a dozen leaders of people that have taken this same information, this same opportunity, and created from 6 figures to 7 figures with this same sharing and caring about other individuals. And truthfully, our goal is to break it down to be so simple. So when you call your friend, all you have to do is say, you know what? I saw something that really excited me and you popped into my head. I don't know if it would be of interest to you, but I want you at least to have an awareness about this and about this breakthrough technology and about this company. And there's a financial component that's tied to it as well. And have your friend share the information around the products and around how that people can monetize this and how you can actually create legacy wealth with this opportunity. So it's all about caring and sharing. And so I want to encourage you to make a decision tonight. Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a customer that just wants to enjoy the benefits of the product? And that is wonderful. But truthfully, whoever invited you on here hopes that you want to link arms with them, catch the vision, go create a movement together and move mountains and help people all over the world because we are a global company. And so it's all about getting the information into anybody's hands and creating a plan that works for you with your schedule and how quickly you want to monetize this and how much you want to monetize this. Because you know what? This opportunity can be good for you, whether you want to make $1 million a year. That and beyond is absolutely available to you. But some people just want to have their product paid for, and everywhere on every level in between. So, together, get yourself launched with a game plan that works into your schedule so that this isn't a burden, but that this is something that you look forward to putting into your life and making a significant impact in the lives of other people. And when you have a plan created that's intentional, then there's no miscommunication. So figure out, why would you want to do this? What is it that you have maybe tucked away that you had a dream about when at some point when you were younger in your life, or at some point, or if you're young and starting out, what are your dreams? And if you at any stage of your life is looking at where you are and what's going on, and you haven't achieved your dream, or if you're just starting out and starting out in the workforce, is what you're doing going to ever give you the capacity to get your hopes and dreams realized? Probably it's a good time to have a second stream of income, and it's always good to have a safety net. And it's always good to create leveraged income because we never know what's around the corner and what life might be dealing with us. And so to have a pathway to create income that's coming in, whether you're present and be able to work it or want to work it, at some point, that is always a good idea to have the ability to make money while you're sleeping. And so it truly is as simple as making a decision tonight, pick a pack, get it ordered, get in the system, talk to your friend who invited you on here tonight, get some names in front of people that I know people's names popped into your head that they would benefit from this because every single man, woman, and child, horse, dog, goat, cow, guinea pig would benefit from this. And you know a lot of people that have a lot of those in their lives. So make your list and let's start caring and sharing and making a difference. And LifeVantage will pay you to do exactly that. And so thank you for letting me share with you tonight. It really is a pleasure. I always love to just point out that Dave and I have been around this for 17 years. You guys, we would not be as excited as we are 17 years in, and we would not still be here if there wasn't the same, or like I said, an even better opportunity for each and every one of us on this call tonight than what we started out with. And so don't miss this one because there will be a day if you don't say yes to this today that you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, I was there in the beginning.
Yeah.
I could have, should have, and I wish I would have. We don't want that to be your story. We want it to be, I could and I did, and look what happened. And so come with us. This is fun and this is making a difference all over the world. Maybe you know people all over the world. We didn't, but you know what? Our business spans the world today because we knew a few who knew a few who knew a few who knew people all over the world. So this will have a global impact and your life will go into something that is super significant, not just success, but success and significance. So thanks for letting us share tonight.
Thanks,
And
Chris.
we look forward to meeting you in person, hopefully this weekend in St. George. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
Good night, all. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Dave and Joe.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Really
Chris.
appreciate you guys and your message tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
See y'all in St. George. Great call to
Yes.
action, Joanne. Y'all have a decision to make now.
You got it.
We'll see you in Southern Utah.